Early one winter morning, Thomas rolled out of his shed to check the weather. It had snowed a little each day all week. It wasn't snowing just then, but the sky was gray and threatening. Looks like we're going to have to get out your snowplow soon, Thomas, said his driver. Thomas was a really useful engine, but he did not like to wear a snowplow. No, he said with a frown. I'm fine just as I am. Besides, my branch line is clear yesterday. I don't need a snowplow. It's not even snowing. But Thomas, said his driver, your snowplow would help you be really useful. Why don't you want to use it? Snowplow looks silly, Thomas grumbled. The other engines would laugh at me. His driver looked up at the cloudy sky and back down at Thomas. Well, it isn't snowing yet, he said. Maybe you won't need your last snowplow today after all. You won't need your snowplow today after all, but you haven't used it since last winter, and you need to make sure it's still in working order. So we're going to have to try it out. All right, Thomas grumbled regretfully. When he saw the snowplow, Thomas felt like steaming away. He really didn't want to put it on, but he had agreed. So with a few turns of the screw and a few twists of bolt, Thomas had his snowplow attached to his front. There and now, said his driver. That's perfect. Just then, James and Henry pulled out of the shed. Ha! Look, Henry, said James. Thomas is wearing a snowplow. It looks like a tin pin. The two engines chuckled and chortled. It's not even snowing. I wouldn't be a snowplow for winter, Henry said. I'm big enough to get through plenty of snow without one. Thomas blushed and looked down. Please take it off, he whispered to his driver. All right, said his driver kindly, but we need have to come back for it, he added with another nervous glance at the sky. When Thomas started out, there was some snow on the ground, but the tracks were clear. He didn't use no plow at all. His first stop was at a small station by an inn. As Thomas was pulling up, it started snowing. Lightly, the innkeeper went hurrying out of no supplies. Mighty cold winter we're having, Thomas, he said. I'll need those extra blankets for my guests. Beep, beep, said Thomas, and he was off again. House's next stop was a general store where he had a large delivery to make. Thank you, Thomas, said the owner of the store. With this weather, I could never have enough snow shovels, hats, and mittens. My customers will be very happy. Thomas failed and peeked at their going on his way once more. By the time Thomas made his last stop, it was snowing hard. The trip home was very difficult. The snow was piling up the tracks. It was hard to see. Thomas just went steadily on, concentrating on his warm shed, and the other engines waiting for him at the end of the line. See, Thomas thought, I could do this without a silly snowplow. Finally, Thomas got back to the sheds. Percy, James, and Henry were talking about the snow. I've never seen it snow. It snows so hard, said Percy. Suddenly, Sir Topham had heard it. Don't be stuck on his branch line, he said. We're going to get him, or he'll may be out of the snow all night. Henry, you're the biggest engine here, so you will have to do it. But it's snowing so hard and it's cold, said Henry. Sir Topham had gave Henry a stern look. Henry quickly changed his mind and said, but I'm faster than Percy, James, and Thomas, and I'm big enough to get through the snow at house. So Sir Topham climbed aboard and they were off. Thomas's driver looked with concern at the swirling snowstorm. I'm putting on your snowplow, he said. I have a bad feeling about the snow, so with a few turns of a screw and a few twists of the bolt, Thomas had his snowplow again. That's then the engine saw a strange sight. It was hard to tell in the thick snow, but it looked like Henry backing up into the yard. I couldn't make it, Henry seemed as he came closer. The track was covered in snow. I almost had said I could barely back out. Thomas thought how the other engines had laughed at this snowplow, then he thought Toby having stayed out in the snow all night. Sir, with my snowplow, I could do it, Thomas said. The snow was deep on the track, but there was no problem for Thomas's snowplow. It was so hard to see, but Thomas went slowly and carefully. Soon, Thomas looked like what the amount of snow on the track ahead of him was actually Toby, very deep. Peek, peek, Toby, I'm here to help you, called Thomas. Thomas crept past Toby and switched on the same track. He carefully backed up to Toby. His driver jumped on the trap and hooked together. Now pull, his driver called. Thomas pulled. He pulled as hard as he could. Slowly but surely, Toby began to move. And slowly but surely, cars pulled coming from the snowstorm. Thank you, Thomas, said Toby. I wouldn't have been out in the cold all night if I weren't for you and your snowplow. I wish the snowplow could get over my couch. She had smiled and said, yes, Thomas, you are a really useful one. Today you are a hero as well. Thomas B. For once he was happy to be wearing a snowplow. No one could see him blushing. He